Chapter 11. Lights spilled out from the machine's slot, and then the movement stopped on a silver panel that hadn't been there before. Whoa. Just seeing the word great success gave me a good feeling. Is a more effective trait going to come out this time? If possible, something that helps with the stage. Trait. Now that I hear it, you're right. C, acquired. Causes emotional agitation in the one who sees, hears. Activation rate, 35% default. Active state. How am I supposed to accept this trait? It seems more suited for a manipulator or something. Is it telling me to manipulate online public opinion with this? No. Given that it specifies the one who sees, hears, that's probably not it either. Let me think for a moment. After calming my mind, I started to think it was actually a pretty good trait. Due to the nature of the program, survival show participants often have occasions where they speak directly to the audience, such as during self-introductions or ranking announcements. In those moments, it's more advantageous if the viewer feels some emotion rather than just passing over it indifferently, so this observational trait was useful. Furthermore, judging by the expression, the one who hears, the method of delivery might include singing. In that case, it's definitely a benefit. It would likely be easier to create a sense of immersion on stage. Good. This is much better than having nothing. After quickly organizing my thoughts on the situation, I checked my status window. Name, Park Monday, Ryu Jianwoo. Level 8, title, none, vocal, A, dance, C, looks, C+, charisma. C, traits, infinite potential, now that I hear it, you're right. C, status ailment, debut or death remaining points. 1, the point was obtained because my first stage was broadcast, achieving the feat. Furthermore, I only needed 3 more practice sessions to achieve the 500 song practice feat. I plan to level up by today to gain 1 extra point, and I intended to distribute the point I currently had immediately. The highest priority was, let's invest in looks. It was time to cross the threshold into B rank. I manipulated the status window without hesitation. I hope the amount of mentions increases from the next content onwards. I thought idly as I prepared for bed, even though it was early. Filming started again tomorrow. Since it began early in the morning, I needed to start managing my energy now. Considering the order, it seemed like tomorrow would either be the first team battle or filming the self-introduction video. Welcome back to Contestants. Did you all rest well during the break? Yes! My prediction wasn't wrong. As the contestants answered the MC's question energetically, I looked around the set. In the main auditorium, where the theme song was first performed, placards were placed here and there. It was a setup that any viewer of the previous season could have predicted would be for the first team battle. I could see that, besides me, several other contestants were already conscious of this, exchanging glances and whispers amongst themselves. Doing that didn't guarantee we'd be on the same team, but it couldn't hurt. Should I try to recruit someone too? Come to think of it, I wasn't close enough with anyone to do that. I should just focus on what the MC is saying. The stage you will prepare for today is a team battle. Ooh! Everyone reacted with expressions that said, as expected. Since it's the first team battle, I'm sure each of you has a contestant you'd like to be with, right? Seeing him build up the mood like this, the next sentence will probably start with, however, idols must be able to demonstrate teamwork with anyone they meet. For this evaluation, you cannot form teams arbitrarily amongst yourselves. The program, which in the first season let them form teams on their own and then edited it to look like ostracism, sending about 5 people packing, was talking big now. Then how will we form the teams? First, everyone, please pick a ball from this box. Kinda scary. Lee Sejin, gold grade, standing behind me, whispered. Of all the people to be placed next to me by the production team, he was a bad choice, but it seemed like an attempt to create a reaction shot. I couldn't just ignore it with the cameras rolling. I gave a slight nod, then followed the person in front of me to pick a ball from the box. Number 12. It seems they'll form teams according to the numbers, or we'll choose teams in this number order. Contestant number 1. Who is it? Please raise your hand. It's contestant Lee Hung-soo. A silver grade contestant awkwardly raised his hand. The MC raised his hand and pointed to the placards placed around the auditorium. Contestants, in order. You can each choose a placard. So it was the latter. The MC smiled and gestured with his hand. Then please reveal the contents of the placards. Bing lights turned on the placards, revealing text. It was somewhat high-tech, but more important than that was the content. Each placard had the name of a famous agency written on it. Here are the names of agencies that lead K-pop worldwide. You simply need to choose one of these agencies. However, the capacity is 14 people per agency. The MC clapped his hands together sharply. But if the capacity is exceeded, a higher grade contestant can push out a lower grade contestant and take their place. Wow, that's brutal. Lee Si-jin, the gold grade, chimed in again, hamming it up. What if you choose the same agency as me and push me out? I give up then? You're gold grade. I couldn't understand why this guy, who had a high grade, kept assuming someone would push him out. Even a gold can get pushed out by a platinum. I won't push you out. Oh, straight to the point. I decided not to get sucked into his nonsense. For reference, there were 5 agency placards. This setup meant at least 7 people would inevitably be left standing in a corner, unable to stand at any placard. I could already anticipate the insert interviews. It was really scary. I guess it's a real survival show now. Then, starting with contestant number 1, Lee Hung-soo, please begin moving. The first contestant went and stood in front of the agency famous for being a powerhouse for boy groups. My number was 12, which was fairly early. I probably wouldn't need to push anyone out. However, the fact that I couldn't confirm my teammates in advance was quite troublesome. Depending on who my teammates were for this first team battle, the quality of the stage, the editing direction, and even the future landscape of the competition could change. Moreover, by the time 11 people were called, not a single contestant I knew was among them. It seemed I had no pre-debut fame to rely on. I had to use my head. Next contestant, please move. After some thought, I made my decision. I headed for the placard that had been chosen by the highest number of high-grade contestants so far. After all, each agency had its own hit songs, and if we chose wisely from among them, song selection wouldn't be a major problem. Therefore, the teammates were more important than the agency. Since having skilled people would make the stage easier to carry, let's calculate based on the limited sample of the 11 people before me. For now, I'll go to the place with the most high grades. Without waiting for a question, I walked towards one placard. 2 gold grade contestants awkwardly welcomed me. They had probably agreed beforehand to choose the same placard. Although we had only exchanged greetings, their intention to appear welcoming was obvious. You guys are trying hard too. Oh, main vocal. I decided to gratefully accept that kind of reaction too. Fortunately, they were all contestants who had strengths in dance. The problem was what came next. Next is, contestant Lee Si-jin. The child actor Lee Si-jin had also chosen this placard. Lee Si-jin, holding number 15, approached with a sullen expression and stood behind the placard. The 2 gold grade contestants seemed to try to welcome him this time as well. But because Lee Si-jin abruptly turned and stood at the back, their efforts fizzled out awkwardly. I heard a disappointed sound from the front. Since he's right behind me, I should make at least this much of a gesture. I turned my head and gave a slight nod to child actor Lee Si-jin. Lee Si-jin also jerked his head slightly. It was an uncommunicative response. The feeling really is bad. Can't someone push this guy out? But afterwards, as contestants with bronze grade, lower than silver, joined, the possibility became extremely low. Damn it! Then, after some time, the numbers reached the 30s. Seon Ah-hyun, holding number 33, approached with a nervous expression. Well, having more gold grades is good. She also has a cooperative personality. I gave a slight wave, and Shauna Hyun brightened up and waved her hand back wildly. It was a bit embarrassing. The next memorable addition was Ryu Jong-woo, platinum grade. A former national representative in fencing, he was one of the few contestants I knew who had pre-debut fame. Please take care of me. The smirking Ryu Jong-woo thus became the 13th person in line. One spot remained. Unfortunately, the number 1 and 2 ranked contestants I knew had gone to other placards. They were at the placard chosen by contestant number 1, famous for being a powerhouse for boy groups. That particular agency was so popular that it was the first to have people pushed out. It included many people, such as the number 1 ranked Cha Yu-jin, those with pre-debut fame, and those who became topics after their first stage. There, even a silver grade was pushed out. I'm sorry. The pushed-out silver grade contestant nodded with a resigned expression and approached our placard, putting on a thoroughly pitiful appearance. For your information, this guy is Choi Won-gil. After picking fights intensely, his mentality must have really cracked because he messed up his grade evaluation and fell to silver. It might just be my feeling, but he seemed to be avoiding eye contact with me. Well, now someone has to be pushed out for the next person to enter. All 14 spots are filled. Oh dear. The gold grade contestant, who had been first in line, muttered under his breath. I was starting to get worried about this team's composition. Moreover, the one who pushed his way in from the 60s was that guy. The contestant I nominate for expulsion is bronze grade contestant Jong Hyung Jong. I'm truly sorry. It was gold grade Lee Sejin who had chosen this placard. Lee Sejin, who kept bowing his head, became the first to push someone out and join this placard. Because he acted so apologetic and smooth-talking, everyone just accepted it. Oh, Monday, are you going for main vocal? Whoever suits it will do it. Wow, cool. Whoever suits it will do it. If it weren't for the cameras, my fist would have flown. I stared at Lee Sejin without a word, and he chuckled awkwardly. Then only after hitting my back once did he move to get in line. Unbelievable. Everyone, have you all chosen the placard you wanted? The moving only ended after those who were pushed out from various placards were assigned a newly brought-out placard. At the placard I was at, after Lee Sejin's gold joining, there were no changes except for 1 silver pushing out a bronze. In the end, summarizing the grades of the contestants here. Platinum 2, Gold 5, Silver 5, Bronze 2. Overall, excluding the number 1 team, the distribution was the most balanced. The members seemed to realize this too, as they looked subtly satisfied. Of course, it wouldn't end here. You must be wanting to choose a great song now. Yes! There were 14 people. There was no way they'd cram us into one team. They would split us into groups of 7. The people I wanted to avoid were clear, and the people I wanted to team with. I raised my head. Coincidentally, I made eye contact with Ryu Chung-woo. Ryu Chung-woo gave a slight, almost imperceptible nod. It seemed he was also thinking of forming a team focused on high grades. Good. Then I'll try to make it look as less shameless as possible. Now, before that, could the person who first chose each placard raise their hand? Contestants standing right behind the placards here and there quickly raised their hands. The MC said with a smile, "The contestants with their hands raised, please press the button on top of your placard once." Huh? Placard? Button? Ah, that square thing on top. Yeah, that's it. The contestants buzzed amongst themselves and then each cautiously found and pressed a button on the top of their placard. Then the content on the placards flickered and changed. What? Are those lottery numbers? On the placard screens, 7 numbers were displayed in 2 rows. The placard for the agency I was standing at was the same. 4, 7, 12, 15, 33, 37, 62, 17, 20, 27, 38, 41, 59, 72. Can you see the numbers on the placards? Yes, we can. If you buy lottery tickets with those numbers, haha, just kidding. According to those numbers, you will form teams. Everyone, Do you remember the number on the ball you picked and the order you started? You will now form teams based on the order written on the placards, and you will have a one-on-one match with the other team. Instantly, the set was filled with noise. What number were you? I was number 5, right? Huh? Wow, what is this? Are we split up? Our placard was no different. First, the gold grade contestant, who pressed the button first, let out a cheer and hugged the other gold grade contestant standing right behind him. So they had planned to be together after all. Then he immediately turned and shouted at me. Hyungnim! Number 12. We're on the same team. Wow, awesome. We got the main vocal. And immediately, someone grabbed my neck from behind and pulled me into the group where the gold grades were enthusiastically hugging. Our team is so good. It was gold grade Lee Sejin. I see. So that guy was number 62, stuck between the three of them, who were hamming it up even more as if they were a pre-existing line. I tried hard to match the team order. The remaining numbers were 15, 33, and 37. First, number 33 is Seon Ah-hyun. Fortunately, I was saved. I turned around to speak to Seon Ah-hyun and slipped neatly out of the circle of 3. It was so awkward I almost got irritated. Let's do well. Seon Ah-hyun nodded her head vigorously. Good. Who are the remaining teammates? It would be great to have Ryu Chung-woo, who is platinum grade and has pre-debut fame. Was he number 37? He wasn't. Number 37 was Choi Won-gil. He was definitely standing awkwardly on this side, holding his order tag. Ryu Chung-woo seemed to be already gathering his members over there to start a briefing. Damn it! And number 15 was, it was the child actor Lee Sejin. He was also staring towards the 3 gold grade contestants who were huddled together with eyes that refused communication. This is troublesome. The editing for this is going to be the death of me. Regardless of my feelings, the overall grades for our team seemed overwhelmingly good. Perhaps because of that, even Seon Ah-hyun unusually added a comment in her normal voice. Oh, our team seems good. Yeah, at least you think positively, Chapter 12. Aha! Aren't we just too good? There are many skilled people, and many good-looking people too. Gold grade Lee Sejin said with a beaming smile. Everyone nodded as if they were being modest, but truly agreed. It was only natural, as this was the time to present a harmonious front, no matter what. It was a relief that everyone seemed to have at least basic social awareness. But, Actor Sejin, our names are the same. How can we distinguish ourselves? Huh? Oh, that's a good idea, right? Well, since you're an actor, how about Bae Sejin? The gold grade contestant who joined first chuckled and added to the conversation. Then since I'm just big, call me Kun Sejin, Big Sejin. Kun Sejin? Oh, good call. What do you think, Sejin Hyungnim? The child actor, Lee Sejin, pursed his lips as if enduring something, then spoke quietly. I just like my name as it is. Ah, I see. The atmosphere cooled instantly. Gold grade Lee Sejin hurriedly opened his mouth. Ah, that's fine. Then, brothers, please call me Jun Sejin from now on. Good. The stage name is nice. Clap, clap, clap. With applause, the atmosphere was smoothed over. Around the time we started introducing ourselves one by one, the MC picked up the microphone again. Contestants, have you all finished greeting each other? Please, just let us choose the song freely. One of the team members muttered desperately, but it was hopeless. Then now, we will begin the song selection draw. Wow, even the song selection is random, everyone muttered with tired expressions. The MC waved his hand playfully and said in a joking manner, Hey everyone, it's from the hit songs of the representative idol groups from the agency you chose. Don't be so disappointed. It seemed they thought that was acceptable enough, as the atmosphere improved somewhat. Now the representative songs will cycle on the placard in front of you. Please press the switch when you want it to stop. Then, the contestant who first joined the placard, please come forward. The team members immediately switched gears. Hyungnim, I believe in you. Only a lucky person can survive. Ugh, do I have to show my ability again? Amidst the support, the first contestant strutted forward to the placard. All right, get ready. Press it! Whoa, whoa. The team member made a strange noise and immediately pressed the switch. From the front, Kyun Se-jin, since he brought it upon himself, I'll refer to him as such from now on, muttered, Hey, you should have watched it a bit before pressing. The placard spun around slowly, showing several song titles. Mountain Army on V-Tick, Life, V-Tick, Song of Eternity, V-Tick, VTC. Currently the best-selling boy group. They're all good. Please. From the very back, I could hear Choi Won-gil muttering desperately. I silently waited for the screen to stop. The screen slowly came to a halt, to a new world, Malang Dalkum, soft, sweet. An awkward silence fell. All team members except me stared at the placard with XX eyes. Is it over? The team member who pressed the placard muttered in a trembling voice. But there was no signal from the production staff. It meant it was final. Girl groups are included too? There are girl group songs as well? Similar comments were coming from here and there, not just from our team. Of course, no one had as strong a reaction as we did. Our team members muttered as if they'd lost their minds. So it's the Flower Fairy one? That, debut song. Oof. It was understandable. To a New World was a pure, dreamy song by the group Malang Dalkum, who embodied the concept of flower fairies. Moreover, it was their debut song. A song released before Malang Dalkum adopted their famously weird but cute concept that later went viral. A song that never achieved a number 1 on public broadcast charts. Ah, thank you. Jackpot! From the surrounding area, cheers filled the air as if good songs had been selected. It was natural, as if there must have been many hit songs. Then, the decision came from here. Ha! Hyung! The next team at our placard had gotten V-Tick's Mountain Army. For your information, that song was the title track of the album that won the Daesang Grand Prize at the awards ceremony of the country's largest fan community site 2 months ago. You could say it was the most reliable song among those available right now. Because of that, everyone was hugging and going wild. Perhaps because they had suffered mentally for a moment due to their lower team grades, the mood became as if they had already won. And on our side, we suddenly fell silent. It seemed everyone was still in shock. And me? We dodged a bullet. I was breathing a sigh of relief. I realized I had been careless about the agency placard. Because of that, VTC's Mountain Army? It's better not to do it at all than to do that song. We were really lucky to have dodged it by chance. In that sense, our current matchup luck couldn't be better. It seems no one has realized it yet, though. Looking at the team members gathering gloomily, I thought it was actually for the best. If they feel a sense of crisis, they might become a bit more cooperative. The key doesn't match. Did I think they would be cooperative? I want to correct that. It was an excessive expectation. The guy who had already given up was starting to act up. Won-gilla, even so, if we try it again once more, we've tried it several times already. I don't think doing it again will make the impossible possible. Choi Won-gil bowed his head gloomily and then spoke sadly. It's originally a girl group song, so it seems like the key doesn't fit well even after transposing it for male vocals. I think I might be able to handle the really high parts, but as he said that, he looked in my direction. He's asking for my parts. Along with the fervent support of the 3 gold grade members, I was already wearing the main vocal badges. Perhaps because of his low grade, Choi Won-gil couldn't even open his mouth properly and just watched me put on the badges. Then, seeing an opportunity to drive a wedge, he spoke up. I chuckled. Is that so? Kun Se-jin pinched my thigh. This guy, really? Don't unfairly bully the kid. At a time like this, you should help him handle his part. What are you doing? He smoothly deflected the testy remark as a joke. It's not a skill you pick up in one or two tries. As expected, he doesn't seem like just a smooth talker from that time. Hiding my suspicion, I continued speaking amiably. No, really, I don't mind swapping. If we're going to do it, we should figure it out early on, before learning the choreography. Really? Yeah, I concluded nonchalantly. Choi Won-gil looked very suspicious, but afraid I might change my mind, he quickly nodded. Then, I'd like to do the chorus for the first verse. Fine, then I'll take the bridge part. Huh? We're swapping parts. You said you couldn't do it. Choi Won-gil nodded with a regretful expression. Even though someone was taking a part he himself said he couldn't do, he still seemed reluctant. He made a fuss because he wanted the chorus no matter what. But it seems he didn't actually want to give up his own part. I don't think he was originally this incompetent. Falling to silver must have been a blow. He's a bit off his rocker. Kyun Se-jin looked back and forth between me and Choi Won-gil, then let out a barely audible sigh. I see. In the scenario he had pictured, I was probably supposed to take the first verse chorus. Then, pretending not to notice, he continued cheerfully. All right, then the parts are settled as is. There was one main position left. I could feel the gold-grade contestants pretending to be nonchalant. Now we just need to decide the main dancer. Before Kun Se-jin could say more, I raised my hand. I have an opinion. Huh? If everyone is okay with it, before we decide the main dancer, I'd like to decide the arrangement direction first. Arrangement? Arrangement. It was the most important topic, yet one everyone had been unconsciously avoiding. To a New World is a pure, innocent girl group song, and pure and innocent is an extremely difficult concept to pull off. Many mistakenly think it's easy if you just act cute, but that's a complete misconception. Because it's a concept that's difficult to make impactful. To leave an impression on the audience with such a song on a survival show stage, you need to be incredibly skilled or have exceptionally outstanding charisma. Perhaps because everyone had thought that far, the discussion about arrangement started like this. Well, how about changing the arrangement to make it more powerful? You mean making the beat stronger? Yeah, instead of To a New World, we do it with soaring ambition like thump. This was the opinion of the first gold grade member. Calling them that is bothersome. Should I just call him gold number 1? So, this was gold number 1's opinion. It's a typical suggestion you'd expect from a survival show contestant who's put some thought into it. Make it more powerful. The problem is that it seems quite difficult to make this song feel ambitious, as he said. The lyrics of To a New World are as follows. Maybe from some moment, I realized me, lost in incomplete time. In this inescapable maze of time, save me trapped within it. It's gradually fading. This small space inside, little flower. Because I'm waiting for the day to bloom again. Please come find me quickly. This is the first verse. If you want to make it sound ambitious, you'd have to rewrite the lyrics to be more focused on the narrator. But then the story from the pre-chorus onwards would become completely nonsensical. Because the chorus of this song is about asking the other person to come to you quickly. 1 step, 2 steps. The sound of you coming echoes in the flower garden. Don't hesitate. Reach out your hand to me. Now I'm heading to a new world. Come to me, a dazzling paradise for the two of us. Come to me, the melody of love towards you, it continues. So then, do we have to change the come to me part that comes after To a New World too? If we change it to come to you... Gold number 1's words trailed off as he scratched his head. He seemed to have realized the problem wasn't just that. Then wouldn't we have to change everything starting from save me? Exactly. Because the chorus is so focused on the listener's actions. If we change it to say we will approach quickly, the nuance of the subsequent lyrics falls apart. If we go this route, we'd have to change the entire thing. Yeah, but if we change the lyrics too much, it might be an issue of fairness. Furthermore, whether the opposing team or the production staff would accept such a complete rewrite was another problem. As the seriousness of the situation seemed to sink in, the team members grew quiet. Kunsei Jin quickly stepped in to change the topic. How about we discuss the arrangement with the teachers later? I think it would be better to learn the choreography quickly so we can get good feedback. Is that okay with you? Sure, let's do that. I readily agreed. After all, my intention in bringing up the arrangement issue at this point was to shock them. The more desperate the atmosphere, the less they'll be able to argue when I present my arrangement idea later. Of course, even without going this far, I figured everyone would understand the situation once they saw the choreography video. Okay, then let's watch the choreography. Led by Kunsei Jin, we played the choreography video and all leaned our heads towards the tiny tablet PC screen. Probably no team member would remember the choreography in detail, no matter how many times they watched it. But as expected, less than 15 seconds after the choreography video started, everyone's faces turned grim. Chapter 13, Dance? From the very beginning, the choreography for To a New World incorporated movements reminiscent of ballet and modern dance. It was difficult and dreamy, but as expected, it wasn't powerful. It is pretty, though. Gold number 1, who had been talking a lot, trailed off. There were also limits to changing the choreography. In other words, thanks to this choreography, the difficulty level of the arrangement had skyrocketed once again. But since using it as is wouldn't suit an audition program, they'd probably feel even more hopeless. After being hit consecutively, first by the lyrics and now this, learning the choreography began in a funeral-like atmosphere. Let's just memorize it as quickly as possible. However, perhaps the feeling of being backed into a corner created a sense of crisis rather than despair, so everyone kept their mouths shut and worked hard, making the initial practice session surprisingly smooth. They seemed to realize that if they voiced unnecessary complaints, it could be edited into the broadcast as disparaging remarks about the song. It's nice that it's comfortable. I also continued practicing silently without a word. For me, since I had no experience with any of the choreography anyway, the effort to memorize it was all the same, so I didn't feel particularly excited or disappointed. Here, you grab the arm and spin like this. Oh, that was close. And I waited for the right timing. The atmosphere was set, but now the important thing was to create a compelling narrative that the editors wouldn't want to cut. How the arrangement process was portrayed on broadcast was also crucial. The opportunity came later during the trainer check or practice time. You must have thought a lot after receiving your song, right? At the choreographer's words, the team members smiled awkwardly. They couldn't exactly say they'd postponed all the thinking and just memorized the dance. The choreographer didn't seem too pleased with this reaction, but let it slide for now. First, let me see what you've prepared. Yes. Then the team members, including me, performed the first verse's choreography without any mistakes. Phew! The sighs of relief from the guys around me were palpable. They were clearly glad there were no mistakes. Well, all right. The choreographer nodded his head. It was a rather dismissive gesture. You've memorized the movements, at least. Who taught the choreography? The members who are a bit more familiar with dance all did it together. Yeah, we all did it together, Kunsei Jin added to Gold number 2's statement. While the 4 Gold members had taken the lead, the one who had actually taught the most was Seon Ah-hyun. Turns out she was a dance major. Well, it wasn't like one person did it entirely alone, and since Kunsei Jin ended up as the main dancer, it seemed they would gloss over it like this. The choreographer just nodded. Yeah, you must have worked hard, but the choreographer tapped his neck. Not a single one of you catches my eye. A sharp intake of breath was heard from the line, from Gold number 2. Anyone hearing it would think a ghost had appeared. What are you trying to do here? Comments like, oh, they're dancing, they're doing this move, they're doing that move, are something you'd hear at a school trip talent show. You're here to make a living with this, aren't you? With each word, the team members flinched. Frankly, there's no flavor to watch. It was a natural result since they avoided interpreting the song and just mechanically learned the dance, but the fact that this criticism was delivered like a verbal assault rather than advice made it sting more. Some of you are downright below standard. Adding this, while glancing pointedly at actor Lee Si-jin, was blatant. Lee Si-jin hung his head. Frankly, I was also at a level where I had barely memorized the choreography, so I was lucky he served as the bulletproof shield. I guess I should consider myself lucky. A relentless stream of feedback, harsh enough to make anyone feel utterly drained, continued. The choreographer targeted them without hesitation. You, Seona Hyun. Yes. You majored in modern dance, right? Then why does your expression seem weaker than even Moonday's? Seona Hyun's face turned pale. I had a strong premonition that this comment would absolutely not be edited out. This balding guy. Is he deliberately targeting me, pretending I'm bad, to create a shocking contrast? He sings well, too. Just because this is an audition, you've been evaluated leniently so far. But do you think that after debut, people will say, it's okay if he's just this good because he has a story? It's ironic how he talks as if the entertainment industry, where storytelling is highly effective, is a place that judges purely on cold, hard skills. He hasn't changed. In any case, it seemed to be a massive blow to Seona Hyun, who looked like she was about to break down at any moment. This is a bit problematic. She already has that strange status ailment. It would be troublesome if it worsened and she couldn't perform. Anyway, your current level is just that of a practiced amateur. Think about what you want to express in this song, and come back next time in a state where you're not ashamed of yourselves. Thank you. The team members, who had turned into rags in an instant, trudged out of the dimly lit evaluation room. They already looked like wet rags drained of life. However, a similar situation unfolded during the subsequent vocal feedback. Kids, what are you trying to do? The vocal trainer tapped the keyboard as if frustrated and exasperated. Perhaps because she genuinely wanted to give advice, she provided specific instructions instead of personal attacks. The concept of this song is Flower Fairies, right? It's a song meant to be sung clearly and prettily, but you guys are just singing the right notes. There's no sense of brightness, prettiness, or faint longing at all. Are you ashamed to sing like that? Aside from the song being unsuitable for an audition program, I wondered if there was any team member who hadn't already thought that, given they are kids around high school age. But they couldn't honestly say it was embarrassing, so this was the response they gave. Well, since it's an audition, we initially wanted to arrange it with a stronger feel, but the song's concept is so distinct that it's naturally difficult to change it to a stronger direction. If arranging seems difficult, you should have at least considered being more faithful to the original song. The vocal trainer made a frustrated face and threw up one hand. Kids, first, you need to figure out your direction. Then, at the production team's signal, an impromptu team meeting began. Cameras were shoved right in their faces, and with the production staff crowding around, the atmosphere was too stifling for anyone to speak. But someone had to break the ice, so the one wearing the leader's armband spoke first. It was Kun Se-jin. Haven't we all worked very hard? Thanks to that, we learned the choreography quickly. From now on, if we immerse ourselves in the song with that feeling, I think we can definitely create a stage that will shine brightly. It was a natural, reassuring speech, as if prepared. Is this guy for real? Let's all, without exception, work hard to bring out the original song's emotion. It might be a bit awkward, but if we do it cutely and charmingly, wouldn't it also capture a bit of the feeling of Malang Dalkom Sunbenim's hit songs? Like what Mundaye did before. That's it. If we do the pure and innocent concept with a bit of humor, it gives a fresh feeling. What if we speed up the beat a bit and make it fun? In essence, he was suggesting they not perform the pure girl group song in a bland, over-the-top way, but instead digest it like Malang Dalkom's prime-era weird but cute concept. I think he actually prepared this. I realized it in that moment. This guy, like me, had been waiting for an opportunity. He deliberately let things slide until the trainer feedback. If he had insisted on sticking purely to the original from the start, there would have been backlash from members who would resist. This also blocked the possibility of criticism being directed at Seon Ah-hyun, the dance major who was more suited to the original. Plus, with this meeting being filmed, he could establish his leader impact. It was no ordinary skill. But too bad. This guy's grand plan was about to hit a snag, because my idea was better. First, I'll pick up the conversation. The idea is good, but if we're not careful, couldn't it look like we're making fun of the original song? It's a senior idol group song after all. If they cross the line even slightly and end up looking ridiculous, there's no telling what criticism they'd face. Naturally, this opposing opinion wasn't entirely unexpected as Kun Se-jin retorted with a smile, "We just have to do it cutely so it doesn't look that way. Hyung, aren't you being a bit too much?" Suddenly, Choi Won-gil abruptly interrupted the conversation, seeming agitated. Won-gil ah? Kun Se-jin looked uncharacteristically flustered. This is an interesting development where I, the one being attacked, benefit more than the one receiving support. I can almost hear the sound of Kun Se-jin's grand plan shattering. Choi Won-gil, using this as a stepping stone, directed his sharp remarks at Park Mun-dae. He seemed to be consciously aware of the cameras. "While you're saying that, Hyung, do you have any good ideas? You might be fine since the trainers view you favorably, but you should consider the other members' feelings, too. If you just blindly oppose like that, oh, a statement that sounds reasonable on the surface. Of course I have an idea, my opinion." Really? I've been thinking. There might be a way to keep the original emotion and make it intense. Does such a thing exist? At the sudden proposition of this unusual theory, the other team members let out astonished sounds. In contrast to Choi Won-gil, who made a momentarily bewildered expression as the atmosphere shifted instantly, Kun Se-jin instead calmly placed a hand on his chin. This guy is really not ordinary. "If it's real, of course it would be good, but how?" I said with a smile. "Let's mix in horror. Let's go not with just flower fairies, but with flower fairies who have been to America." After a moment of silence, filled with exclamation marks passed, reactions started to spill out. Hey, that sounds good. If we add a horror concept to this choreography, it would be really scary, right? Oh. From Gold Number 1, who was roughly acting out the memorized choreography with his hands and shouting, "Eureka!" to Lee Si-jin, who was making a face that seemed at least somewhat less dismissive than before. The reactions varied in intensity, but were mostly positive. I figured that since they're aspiring idols of this age, they'd rather do something unique than something bland, so they'd naturally react positively. Kun Se-jin also let out an admiring sound and nodded. He quickly changed direction upon seeing the consensus. "This is a bit awkward to say right away, but I like Mun-dae's idea." Wow, he abandoned his own opinion and agreed. As expected of a true leader, the atmosphere brightened instantly. Through the chattering team members, I could see the vocal trainer with a satisfied expression. The camera was probably filming her too, so that cut would likely be used. I hope it's edited together well. However, there was one person who couldn't enjoy the first thawing of the mood. Choi Won-gil was, by a narrow margin, not that person. Once he came to his senses, he seemed worried about how what he had said would be edited. He was trying hard to ride the wave of the positive atmosphere, but it seemed his pride was too hurt to apologize to me, as he was actively avoiding eye contact. If I were him, I would have just said I spoke out of turn in the heat of the moment and moved on. I don't know why he's acting like this when the atmosphere is such that the other party has to accept it. Is it because he's young and doesn't know how social interactions work? If that's the case, then the real culprit is Seon Ah-hyun. A ghost. Let's do a ghost. There are flowers that have taken human souls, you know? What is this? A horror movie? That's too serious. You know the movie Black Swan? If we do it with that kind of eerie feeling, wow, if we do the choreography like that, it would be really scary. Seon Ah-hyun was the only one in this group project happiness feedback loop situation with a gloomy expression, huddled in a corner. It seemed the damage from the choreographer and trainer's comments hadn't healed. I briefly harbored the hopeful thought that Kun Se-jin, trying to establish his true leader image, might step forward, but there was no sign of it. It seems he's leaving her alone, probably afraid that if Seon Ah-hyun recovers, she'll attract criticism again for being a major who underperformed. The others are either simple-minded, socially inept, or, like me, in a position where they don't need to be checked because they aren't main positions anyway. To be stuck like this, I felt a sense of despair at the thought of having to play the unwanted role of mental guardian. Anyway, the stage quality is lacking at this point. Let me at least try to talk to her. Chapter 14. After the most chaotic and hopeful discussion session so far, I tried talking to Seon Ah-hyun during a short break. Are you tired? No. Seon Ah-hyun shook her head with a tense expression. It seemed she herself knew her condition wasn't great and was nervous about being scolded. Is this the right way to approach this? I tried to change the subject as gently as possible. Then, are you still bothered by the feedback from the choreography check earlier? A blunt apology came back. Sorry. I'll do my best. She's really like an ocean sunfish. Suffocating. You don't need to apologize to me, and this is just so you don't misunderstand. Let me try to softly convey the message that the choreographer has personality issues and gives evaluations as personal attacks. Dance trainer Nim didn't say that because he genuinely thinks I'm better than you. He probably said it to provoke me. To create a comfortable atmosphere, I moved closer to Seon Ah-hyun as I spoke. He probably said it because he thinks you can do better and was disappointed. He's originally a person who speaks harshly. Perhaps because she couldn't bring herself to say the nonsense, "No, you're better." Seon Ah-hyun remained silent. Even you think what I'm saying is plausible, don't you? Do you really think I can do well? Huh? Is she asking me? She probably didn't ask this after calculating that I couldn't possibly answer. The choreographer is the choreographer, but I don't think so. I sighed and replied, frustrated. Why would I lie? Seon Ah-hyun gulped audibly, then asked back in a voice filled with a bit of expectation. Then how can I do well? Are you asking for my opinion? Yes! Seon Ah-hyun nodded her head vigorously. She's a rookie who started her career through an audition. But is she hoping for an effect from my words? Hiding my cold sigh, I gave a straightforward opinion based on Seon Ah-hyun's status window. I think you think too much, needlessly. Seon Ah-hyun looked shocked. Needlessly. I'm not saying your thoughts are useless, but I think you even think thoughts you don't need to. Try emptying your mind. Let me add a concrete example. Just think something like, I will do this. Seon Ah-hyun seemed lost in thought. Quite a paradoxical reaction for someone who just received advice to discard thoughts. However, the words that came out shortly after were positive. Oh, okay, I'll try. There was determination visible on her face. So it didn't seem like an empty promise. But why is she burning with more passion than the value of the advice? She even had strength in her shoulders. She was even muttering something to herself. Probably something like, I will do this. Wow, did I have this much talent for causing effects? Just as I was becoming suspicious, a status window pop-up appeared. Now that I hear it, your right C activated. Target, Seon Ah-hyun, effect, trait activation due to successful persuasion. I see, it seems that 35% probability came through. I didn't know it could be used like this. Given the nature of this program, it seemed quite useful, assuming, of course, that the 35% triggers. First, to check the exact changes, I also looked at Seon Ah-hyun's status window. Tame Seon Ah-hyun, vocal B, A, dance, E, X. Looks at plus, charisma B, A+, trait tenacity, A, status ailment. Lack of self-esteem, inactive. The status ailment is inactive? The pop-up said some trait was activated. Could it be the influence of that? Let me check the trait. Tenacity, A. One's mindset is something one creates oneself. Burns concentration to suppress negative states. When active, suppresses one status ailment, highest priority. This is a game-breaking trait. If I had this trait, I would have deactivated the debut or death status ailment and quit this audition long ago. I was so annoyed I couldn't think straight. It was only after some time passed and vocal practice started again that I could calmly assess the situation. Anyway, can Seona Hyun now utilize her skills according to that status window? Just then, the vocal trainer praised Seona Hyun's voice. Ah, Hyun, that was the right sound just now. Thank you. Even to my ears, it sounded better than during practice. It seems she's starting to produce a sound matching her B-A stat. Hull. It's good that Seona Hyun regained her spirit, raising the stage's quality. But it wouldn't do if she alone shines too brightly. Even if I don't get evil edited, it would be troublesome if that guy hogs all the buzz and impact. It seems I need to create personal screen time that can't be ignored. I needed something that would contribute to the stage's quality while allowing only me to take the impactful moment. So what's the plan? If you guys pull it off, I think that direction looks good too. How are you planning to do it? At the vocal trainer's question, I raised my hand, following the team members who were excitedly explaining the arrangement direction. I have an opinion about the arrangement for my part. Would it be okay to share? Oh, Mundy, where? This part. I pointed my finger at the lyric sheet. The bridge. I saw Choi Won-gil's jaw drop in the line. Thanks for the part, Won-gil. I'll use it well. Season 3 of was burning up the internet, using the mockery and criticism that it would fail as fuel. At this point, only the contestants' profiles and first stages had been released. Although the production presentation hadn't even happened yet, an application to recruit the live audience for the first team battle was already posted on the TNet broadcaster's homepage. It was due to scheduling issues, but regardless, fueled by the overflowing buzz, there was quite a competition ratio to buy tickets for the live recording. And here was someone who had proudly passed that competition ratio, 27-1, to attend the recording. I didn't get caught, right? Looking now, she didn't seem so proud after all. As she swallowed nervously, a small DSLR and camera, relatively easy to carry, were hidden under her cardigan, which served as a smokescreen inside her backpack. There was a specific reason she went through the trouble of sneaking a camera into the recording. The moment she saw the first stage of this season, she had an intuition. This might actually work. This atmosphere. It might be quiet now, but once the broadcast starts, all this could turn into interest. If the kids appearing are just good enough, then the value of the photos she was taking now would skyrocket. Smuggling it in was a gamble. But the saying that rising stocks are a gamble dominated her thoughts. Moreover, if there really are good kids, it's also good to become an early major fan account. Furthermore, as her former idol group had advanced into the global market and was showing arrogance, she also had a desire to launder her account's reputation by seizing this opportunity. However, today, she had to capture as much as possible. She didn't know which contestant would stand out on which stage. She calmly waited for the recording to begin. After the MC, who had switched from a public broadcaster to cable, came on stage and gave a few brief reminders, the recording started. For this stage, 2 teams covering songs by senior groups from the same agency will face off. A valuable special prize awaits the winning team. What that prize is, please check the broadcast. The audience had agreed to a pledge not to give spoilers before the broadcast. But since people talking online were plentiful, they seemed intent on not revealing anything beyond the stages themselves. Idol Incorporated Season 3, the first grand team battle, begins now. Shine your star. After the voting method was announced and the stage setup was checked, the first stage began immediately. The first stage featured 2 teams covering a song by a group from Quiz Entertainment, an agency known for producing popular idols. A bit boring, isn't it? It wasn't bad, but it was unavoidably inferior to the original hit song. She took a few sneaky photos, but didn't have high expectations. The important teams were the ones with contestants who were getting mentioned online. After the second team match also passed uneventfully, a team worth watching finally appeared. It was the match featuring Cha Yu-jin, who had garnered the most attention from the stage. Hey, Cha Yu-jin. The kids are all good. As it was a team with many familiar contestants, the cheers during their entrance were different. Some people were already holding fan signs. Above all, the stage was impressive. Wow, they're really good, huh? Their skills were at a level where you could believe they had already debuted, and the arrangement was good too. They had stylishly and cutely reinterpreted an old song that was often consumed online as a meme due to its excessive aegyo concept. Moreover, not only Cha Yu-jin, but also a rapper from the same agency stood out. That kid has potential. She focused on diligently capturing data centered around that kid, skillfully avoiding the occasional glances from staff members. The team that faced them next also had several recognizable contestants, so it was interesting in a different way. Maybe this part will be edited as the finale of the broadcast. She thought it was somewhat exciting, but also felt a bit disappointed. Because from the next team onwards, it seemed like it would be boring. Since more than half of the noteworthy contestants were concentrated in the previous team match, everything after that seemed likely to be dull. And as expected, the next stage was uninteresting. Perhaps it was a team made of members who weren't chosen by others, and they were evaluated on an absolute scale. Frankly, it was clear why they weren't selected. It was the most pathetic stage so far. What is this? My legs hurt. Now there were even people in the back trying to sneak out. They were bored and their legs hurt, and they didn't want to sit through the remaining stages. In that distracted atmosphere, the MC announced, "The first team battle is heating up. This round's contestants have covered a song from Leti, the agency of the global sensation Vitik, who recently won a Dasang." The MC didn't even mention Malang Dalkum. It meant the live audience reaction had been disastrous. But the effect was significant. VTC? The audience began to murmur. Vitik was currently the hottest boy group. The mere mention of a cover of a song by the undisputed Daesang winning group that sells over 1.2 million albums created a pause, even among those trying to leave. In the atmosphere where a sliver of expectation was restored, the MC announced cheerfully, "Now the first team to take the stage is Team October 30. It was a team name that reminded one of an ice cream franchise. Not exactly a name that sticks in your ears instantly. Since it was common for contestants' own sense of naming to be poor, she listened to the team name without much feeling. What Vitik song did they cover? The song covered by the contestants is... didn't they debut as Flower Fairies? It's by the national girl group, Malang Dalkum. The audience was bewildered. People were taken aback. Chapter 15. Why is Malang Dalkum coming out here all of a sudden? The bewildered live audience finally realized that this stage wasn't a cover of Vitik, but a cover of groups belonging to Litai, Vitixi's agency. They had been momentarily tricked because the MC had openly talked about Vitik earlier. What the... Moreover, because it wasn't even a famously bad song, tepid reactions sporadically emerged here and there before fading. If it had been a hit song, it might be different, but most people only vaguely remembered the chorus of this particular song. The woman changing her camera settings was no different. Should I just roughly take some photos for voting appeals? Just as she was hiding her camera from security and thinking half-heartedly, the stage darkened and the intro began to play. Woo, 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 woo. A gloomy, distorted synth melody filled the stage. This was the part where a fresh, feminine, 2010s-style orchestra intro with brass and piano should have been playing. Huh? As she reflexively raised her head, contestants entered her field of vision, wearing dark stage outfits adorned with shadowy, shoulder-piece-like decorations. The suit-like outfits were typical boy group attire, so there was nothing new there. But the solemn atmosphere contrasted strangely with the electronic heavy intro, creating a peculiar sense of dissonance. At that moment, The contestants began to move. Maybe from some moment, I realized me, lost in incomplete time. The contestant who started the first verse had a pretty face and skilled movements. She instantly remembered his name, too. Was it Seon Ah-hyun? Even the choreography incorporated lyrical and elegant dance movements, but still, it was a bit strange. In this inescapable maze of time, save me, trapped within it. The moment the next part came, she realized. Why is everyone expressionless? All the contestants, except for the ones currently singing, had no expression on their faces. It was common for facial expressions to be less active when it wasn't one's part, but it was rare to see them this completely blank. And moreover, their eyes are weird. Their gazes were fixed on empty space, not on the camera. Their expressions and eye focus only suddenly returned when their own part came, so it seemed intentional. If it were a mistake, failing to make eye contact with the camera would be one thing. But idols typically make it their duty to find the camera with an almost instinctual sense even when it's not their part. That's why it was an even stranger sight. It created a stark contrast with the contestant, who was smiling brightly and whose eyes sparkled during his own part. It's gradually fading, this small space inside. 'Cause I'm waiting for the day to bloom again. Please, come find me quickly. Bzzz. The pitch lowered, and a desperate voice rose over the murmur, mixed with an eerie noise. The lyrics were clearly soft and plaintive, but against the intro and the production, they sounded like a plea. If you heard someone crying in a hallway, wouldn't you feel fear before the desire to help? The stage was unfolding with that kind of subtle nuance. One step, two steps, the sound of you coming echoes in the flower garden. Don't hesitate. Reach out your hand to me. Now I'm heading to a new world. The high notes singing to a new world, the same as the song's title, sharply pierced the eardrums. Because it was sung with a half-step lowered pitch to create dissonance, even though it was a high, clear voice, it sounded strange and sinister. He was the contestant who sang the best so far. But she found herself more immersed in the stage itself than in his vocal skills. Come to me, dazzling paradise for the two of us. In the chorus, the same string instruments as the original came in, clashing with the modulated synth sounds, creating an eerie feeling. Zing, kring. The movements borrowed from ballet, combined with a few intense actions, created an inhuman feeling. At that moment, she realized. October 30, October 31st, it was Halloween. The day when evil beings come to this world. Come to me, come to me. The melody of love towards you, it continues. This is being sung by something non-human to lure people in. Gasp! Her mind, which had been holding its breath, was filled with explosive thoughts. Of course, there were idols who used non-human concepts. But no one would have expected such a bold attempt in an amateur idol debut audition program, using a senior female group's bright concept song. Without even the leisure to think, the stage name is amazing, she was instantly immersed in the stage. Passing through the twisted and distorted second verse, the song entered the bridge, and once again, something unexpected emerged. Can't you feel me? In the bridge, the arranged key suddenly returned to the original key. Even the vocal range returned. A boy's voice, singing in the same high key as the original sung by a female voice, resonated. Your warm touch wakes me up. So beautiful, the garden of my body. As the beautiful orchestra accompaniment swelled and the lighting changed to become brighter, it even felt holy. Ooh, but as the lights brightened, something else became clearly visible. The details of the outfits. The shoulder pieces she thought were simply dark colors were actually white fabric stained with blotchy dyes, creating a mottled, rotting appearance. It even looked like stains had dripped down from the thorns on the shoulder pieces. They were vampires! The moment this was seared into the live audience's minds, the bridge ended and the modulated chorus resumed. come to me, a dazzling paradise for the two of us. But this time, the dissonance with the orchestra was reduced and much of the noise disappeared, revealing the plaintive emotion true to the lyrics. The artificial blank expressions during non-singing parts also disappeared, replacing the eeriness with a pitiful feeling. A pitiful feeling took its place. The sound composition also changed. Instead of lingering regret, a spatial sense like dream pop came alive. Come to me, the melody of love towards you. It continues. The modulated sounds disappeared, and the song ended with a violin. Unlike the original song, which ends with a ballet pose as soon as the chorus ended, everyone collapsed, finishing the song. Thus, the stage ended, leaving behind not fear, but a sense of pathos, as if the non-human narrator of the song had truly fallen in love with a human. Woo! People who had been holding their breath suddenly burst into enthusiastic applause. It was a stage that stimulated the viewers' hearts, starting with shock and ending with a poignant finish. If handled poorly, it could have been a mess, but this team's contestants pulled it off properly. They're insane, really. Among the cheering audience, many also recognized that this was possible because these contestants had above-average skills, good looks, and great style. Excited voices could be heard from here and there, as if people had already made up their minds. The standing contestants patted each other on the back a few times, then bowed deeply towards the audience with bright smiles. Thank you! Thank you. It was something all other teams did, but the stark contrast with their stage made it feel even cuter. So cute. The woman who had sneaked in her camera also muttered warmly. The member who sang the high-note bridge particularly caught her eye. That reversal bridge was something she felt she would keep thinking about even after getting home. He had good pronunciation, handled that impossibly high note incredibly well, had a trendy, cute face, and he didn't look awkward even with that over-the-top concept. I must remember his name when they do the voting appeal. She kept her eyes on Park Monday as he exited the stage, then suddenly remembered the camera in her hand, and she was horrified. I was so focused on the stage, I completely forgot about the camera. She was upset about not taking photos, but at the same time, she felt immensely grateful that she could watch it live without worrying about the camera. This was the first time since her previous idol group that she had felt this way. A thrill ran through her. It was the signal of hyper-immersion. After finishing the stage and coming down, the team members were grabbing walls or leaning on each other, their legs feeling like jelly. I also leaned against a wall and thought, it's more fun than I thought. It was strange. Honestly, I never expected it to be like this. It was just something I had to do because I'd die suddenly if I didn't debut. I had never sung and danced in front of anyone in my life, let alone on a proper stage, and until just before the performance, while practicing the song and dance, I only felt like it was something I had to do. I thought I'd get post-performance depression. Why is it fun? Even though I was in a state where it felt like my breath was about to jump out of my throat, it's more exhausting than practice. I guess it's because it was the real thing, so I put more power into it. And probably the guys who were on stage with me would all be similarly out of breath if they survived. They're still panting now, but their expressions were bright, because the cheers were loud enough to burst their eardrums. Wah! Encore, encore! She could even hear some people shouting for an encore from the back. There weren't even that many people. The result was better than expected. It was an enthusiastic reception that even the team with the first and second place contestants didn't receive. Is this why people get hooked? Because of the immediate live reaction? Everyone really worked so hard. We did it! Really! As cameras approached, Kyun Se-jin quickly spoke up. I can't say he wasn't conscious of the cameras, but his words seemed sincere nonetheless. When results are good, everything tends to be romanticized. The team members also began thanking each other enthusiastically. You worked hard! The thank you. I should probably say something too. Thanks to you all. It was fun. Thank you. Mundia. My God, even Mundy is saying such things. What are they talking about? These guys are so moved, they're getting emotional over anything. Even Lee Sejin, who had been difficult, was getting swept up in the mood with a slightly flustered expression. Good work. Wow, Hyungnim. This is touching. The team members, for once, looked at Lee Si-jin with warm eyes, even without being conscious of the camera. The atmosphere was like something out of a shonen manga finale. I recalled the past practice process. Hyung, should we go with a stronger horror theme after all? So it doesn't get buried in the pure concept, right? I was thinking, what about a serial killer? Oh, intense. Since it might overlap with real people, how about thinking of a more fantastical creature? Ghosts. Hosts? Like this, if we move. Does it look mysterious? So many good opinions. Let's vote democratically. I only remembered the exhausting process of gently deflecting the endless stream of wild, excessive suggestions from these talkative guys. I was grateful for Kun Sejin at times like these. He was great at steering public opinion. In the end, things mostly proceeded according to mine Kun Sejin's intentions, because he also agreed with my vampire idea. After all, a proven popular element was better than ghosts or serial killers. Ghosts were one thing, but a serial killer? Did they want to get thousands of shares on SNS and be buried in hate? Anyway, we achieved a good result by appropriately balancing horror and innocence, but it was exhausting. And to be honest, it was because it was fun. I think I understand why so many people want to do this job. As I straightened my clothes and got up, the team members pulled me into their circle. I relaxed my shoulder. It wouldn't do to ruin the mood now by being distant. Showing off teamwork for the camera is also necessary, so I didn't resist. Let's get the next team battle too. Let's be together next time too. Oh, okay. Honestly, our teamwork was the best. The compliments continued, and when we were about to run out of things to say, we finally moved under the staff's guidance and to watch the opposing team stage. Arriving in the room with the dedicated monitor, the opposing team stage began shortly after. Oh, although these guys were exclaiming out of courtesy, they probably realized it, that there was a significant difference in the audience's cheers. Chapter 16, the opposing team wasn't bad either. First of all, Ryu Chung-woo suited the song well, and objectively, their stage was above average compared to other teams. But in the audience's minds, the standard for comparison for that team wouldn't be the other teams. It would be VTIC. This is the problem with covering the latest hit song of the most popular boy group. The original stage is vividly imprinted in many people's minds right now. Even if there were parts they did better than VTIC, it would be hard to get recognition. The internet is on VTIC's side, and unless it's exceptional, they'll just be buried under comments like, it doesn't even compare to VTIC. Of course, even considering all that, our team did better. The team members seemed to know it too. Their faces were bright when they went back on stage for the pre-vote greeting. The MC introduced the teams in stage order. Our October 31 team. It was a colorful and fun stage, like Halloween. The team name was intended to mean that, right? Yes, it means we are the cute ghosts of Halloween. And there's another meaning too. What is it? Like the 31 flavor ice cream. It means our team members each have diverse charms. Kun Se-jin made a flower-like gesture and introduced the team members. The other team members quickly struck poses as if on cue. I just wiggled my fingers a bit at the end. In real life, someone my age doing this would only happen when drunk and trying to discuss someone. But where's there room for pride when it's about survival? So cute. Fortunately, there were no disgusted reactions. It was all thanks to having raised Park Monday's look stat. With a B, it was just barely a look that crossed over from handsome to pretty. Then, the opposing team's introduction followed. Hello, I am... It wasn't to an embarrassing degree, but you could feel the opposing team's nervousness from the difference in cheers. Nice to meet you. I'm Ryu Chung-woo. Ka! The only saving grace was that the cheers for Ryu Chung-woo were loud, but unfortunately, that alone wouldn't be enough for the team to win. Dear viewers, Please cast your votes. First, please vote for the team you thought was better. October 31 is number 1. Mountain Heroes is number 2. People here and there held up fingers to show their team's number. As the audience pressed their remote buttons, the vote soon ended, and a new voting method was announced. Now next, please vote for one contestant from each team who captured your heart the most, the MC emphasized once more. Let me say it again. It is not across both teams. Please vote for one person per team, 2 people in total. This was blatantly sowing discord. The production team must have wanted a CG stimulating development very badly, as the reward for this intra-team individual vote was better than the team battle reward. They even sprung this without prior notice, right before the stage review. Everyone, the reward for this team battle's individual contest is a calendar exemption pass. What? Because of this, word was that other teams had internal strife. Fortunately, our team didn't provide that kind of material. Seon Ah-hyun was easygoing, and gold number 1 and number 2 weren't the type to voice complaints, even if they had them. Lee Se-jin was busy just handling his own part, and Choi Won-gil, having been put in his place once, didn't spout nonsense. As for Kun Se-jin, he ultimately became the main dancer, so he probably had no complaints. Listing it out like this makes it seem like it wasn't, thanks to teamwork, but that each person was too busy solving their own problems to have the energy to cause trouble, right? That's correct. But what will be shown on camera will look like it was thanks to teamwork, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, the individual voting also concluded in a more reserved atmosphere than the first vote. Thank you! With a final bow, the contestants came down from the stage. Of course, including me. Am I really going to be stuck with these guys as a set? I don't know. Anyway, since we seem to have won the team battle, I should pass the first round without much trouble. Everyone, get home safely. See you again. The contestants finished their goodbyes and left the set. I also walked out and got on the bus. Once I got back to my temporary one room, I immediately started searching for reviews of the team battle. Live audience members usually sign a pledge not to spoil the stage content before the broadcast. But rarely does any community properly enforce a spoiler ban. So, on anonymous sites where personal details aren't revealed, reviews were popping up non-stop. They were roughly like this. Idolink live audience review. Malang Dalcom was fucking insaning, Ela. What's with these guys? They keep popping up everywhere. Is it bait? No, I'm serious. I heard it was really good. No way. How can you make Malang Dalcom good? Did they arrange it like a rock band or something? The initial reaction was like that. Even though the team with Cha Yu-jin, who was first place, was there, this team seemed to be mentioned more. Of course, about half of them were probably not real audience members, but trolls trying to stir up hype for or just cause trouble. But still, doesn't it mean it left a strong impression on a lot of people? I carefully read through the more substantial reviews, writing down what I remember from the first team battle, and the team that did the Flower Fairy debut song. They were so good they could debut as is. Their visuals were great, and the one who stood out the most was Lee Se-jin. But the atmosphere almost absorbed even that. Whoever came up with the idea is a genius. Oh, right, the high note was killer too. The main vocal here could probably debut too. Since there's so much talk about it being fake, I'll attach a proof pic. Here, blurred stage setup photo. So, who was there besides Lee Se-jin? You said it was impressive but can't remember the members? Magic troll, obvious bait. Just show a real proof pic and then talk. Troll. Just check the profile. Seon Ah-hyun was there for sure. She was fucking good. If there was a center system, she would have been the main center. But how the hell did they make it good? I'm so curious. Malang Dalcom's debut song is so cringy. I heard they turned it into a horror concept. The sound was thunderous. No, it was a robot concept. Troll, ignore him. They just did the fairy concept straight. It was a werewolf concept, I'm telling you. No, it was vampires. What the hell is the right answer, you crazy... It was fairies, for real. The comments are a mess. When I checked the larger communities, it had turned into a playground with trolls jumping in to fight from the middle. Rumors will probably run rampant until the broadcast, but that might be for the best. Not knowing the details will only build more curiosity. And the production team will definitely be monitoring online buzz, so this overflowing amount of mentions will likely positively impact our team's screen time. That's enough checking the reactions. Now, let's look at the next priority to handle. I recalled the pop-up that had appeared right after the stage ended. Successful stage. You have impressed the majority of the audience. Number of audience, 582 updated. Impressed ratio, 81% updated. A rare trait draw, a click. The description was longer than before. It seems that every time the audience count and impressed ratio set a record, it gives a better trait. The two traits I've drawn so far have both been effective, so getting a trait draw for one stage is a pretty good reward. Then again, if I don't debut within a year, I die, so they need to give at least this much for balance. Thinking about it like that suddenly makes me angry. Other than that, I had leveled up once by achieving the 500 total practices feat while preparing for the first team battle. But I hadn't distributed the stat points yet. I plan to invest them in the most efficient way, depending on the next filming content. So I'll keep these for now and try the trait draw. When I clicked the draw, the slot machine appeared as expected. I'm even getting used to this sight. The slots spun as always and stopped on a bronze-colored text. It was a bit disappointing that it landed on bronze, since the rare silver slots seemed to be higher grade. Well, it can't always be silver. Besides, the content is more important than the grade. I quickly composed myself and checked the effect of the one trait. It's me. ID. Acquired. People pay slightly more attention to your actions. I was lost for words. Chapter 17. Of course, gaining attention is an important asset in the entertainment industry. Many moments on stage can change a career, but I can't shake the impression that this trait, from its title to its content, seems tailor-made for attention seekers. It doesn't even show the exact increased percentage. Slightly more, really. Are such vague expressions even allowed in a status window? Is this why it's a D-grade trait? But the miracle of the status window, interacting with my complaints, did not happen. I eventually accepted reality. Fine. Trait for getting attention. Good. I really hope it helps with my debut. Buzz. The moment I closed the status window, my smartphone vibrated. Thinking it might be a message from the production staff, I quickly checked, but it wasn't. What is it? It was a messenger notification. In gold. Monday. Aren't you checking the group chat? Mood. You're so unresponsive, it's scary, Monday. I should have turned off notifications for personal messenger too. I hadn't thought of it. Since we'll keep running into each other, ignoring a message I've already read would be suicidal, so I had no choice but to reply. Me. I usually don't check my phone much, sorry. Lee Sejin, gold. Why apologize? It's embarrassing. Lee Sejin, good. Check the group chat quickly. Is there some special news? I checked the group messenger chat. The chat with my first team battle teammates showed over 500 new messages. Of course, I have no intention of reading them all. I scrolled down to check only the last conversation. The team members were sharing screenshots of live audience reviews from our recent stage. They seemed to be engaging in social banter, pulling out phrases like, everyone in that team was so good looking, and calling each other handsome. Lee Sejin kun. By the way, Monday, every time you wash your face for the broadcast, your face gets more handsome. Lee Sejin kun. For the sake of our camaraderie, share which dermatologist you go to. It's the level up effect, you brat. Of course, I can't say that, so I just replied that I don't go to one. What kind of guy uses words like requested to ask about a dermatologist? Whether it's my mood or not, I suddenly felt tired. At that moment, it vibrated again. Seona Hyun. Monday, are you doing well? Thank you for always treating me well during the first team battle too. I will definitely repay you next time. A long, detailed message arrived in the group chat. As if by magic, suddenly no one sent any messages. There wasn't even a moment of silence. After sending a brief, humane reply, I immediately turned off the data. When I see them at the next filming, I must tell them I have no Wi-Fi at home and can't see messenger chats. The next filming, the production presentation, was about 3 days away. The production presentation. A promotional event held right before the first episode airs. Honestly, with 77 participants, there's almost nothing to do as an individual. You just sing once and get your photo taken a bit. Of course, the key point here is that photos are taken. It's already a proven fact that the photos taken at this production presentation can play a big role in securing early voting rates. Thanks to that, I also got paid to get my photo taken back then. Since it wasn't just taking and selling photos, but a specific request, the compensation was decent. Anyway, to describe my heart as I stand at this production presentation, well, yes. These are all faces I've seen somewhere before. The faces holding personal cameras behind the press corps looked familiar. It seemed like more than half had probably sat in the hot seat at some event or another. Let me analyze them. Let's see. First, there were guys who probably sell data overseas. Excluding them, most were existing Idol fans. Half were there to scout new idols, and the other half probably just came for fun. Because of that, it didn't seem like many were fixated on just one person. It looked like they would take photos of about 3 or 4 contestants entering the frame and then move their lenses slightly, probably planning to crop them later. Anyway, there were more people than I thought. It seems an atmosphere is quietly being created that this program will succeed by using controversy as fuel. Unfortunately, even if I use the remaining points on Park Monday's looks now, I can't get past B. The benefits of the production presentation will probably go to those with a look stat of A or above. So I should just focus on performing well and getting through it. As expected, visuals are what matter. A brief regret for not having invested in the look stat from the start passed by again. We'll start once the journalists are seated. As we stood in formation on the stage, according to the rehearsal we had at dawn, a staff member briefly told us to wait. While stretching my legs during the break, someone spoke to me quietly. "Your stage was good." Huh? It was Cha Yujin standing diagonally in front of me. If my memory's correct, she's the contestant who will rank first this season. But why is her comment so out of context? I remembered at that moment. It was like this last time, too. I think it was during the filming of the broadcast stage. Cha Yujin asked me something out of the blue, and I replied something like, "Judge after seeing the stage." Could this comment about the stage be a continuation of that conversation? If contestants are talking about stages now, timing-wise, it's most likely the first team battle. If it's that, then I have no choice but to accept it. Even I think it was good, but it's still just as abrupt. This isn't a shonen manga. Did she feel some rival consciousness? And even more abruptly, Cha Yujin gave a thumbs up. "It was really great." "Ah, thank you. Let's be on a team together next time." "Of course, that would be good." Whatever this guy is thinking, it's really a benefit to do it together. I just said okay without questioning or arguing. Since it's an empty lot, I don't need to worry about the cave. The conversation with Cha Yujin ended right there. "Here, do you want to eat this?" Thank you." "Ha! Hyun, don't you have one for me?" "Wow. As soon as you quit being the leader, you're acting like a flatterer." "Here you go." I received a jelly from Sion Hyun nearby and ate it, finishing stretching my legs. As the gold grade contestants' chattering sounds grew louder, a staff member gave the signal. "Get ready." The intro we heard endlessly in the first week of filming started playing. Anyway, this stage will definitely be uploaded to Weibo, so at least avoid any choreography mistakes. The moment we finished the stage safely and were exiting, I heard someone shout, "Monday, did they just call Park Monday?" I turned my head to check. It was one of the camera crew. A woman wearing a hoodie kept pressing the shutter the moment I looked back. Is she only taking pictures of me? I instinctively covered my face with my hand and the woman shouted again, "Mundia, give me a heart." I never thought the day would come when I'd hear those words. But an opportunity is an opportunity, so I somehow made a finger heart and showed it. It was embarrassing. Both cheeks. A cheek heart, too. In front of me, Seon Ah-hyun was stealthily trying to sneak away to the side. It seems he was already tormented by a camera calling his name before the stage. I made eye contact with him. You do it, too. If even one person does it with me, it'll be less embarrassing. Whether he received the signal correctly or not, Seon Ah-hyun grumbled but came back. And in the meantime, Lee Se-jin came rushing back. What are you doing? Photos. He's amazingly good at putting his arm up on someone's shoulder. I wish he wouldn't put his arm on other people's shoulders, but since the camera was there, I decided to bear with it. And so the three of us ended up taking a photo with our arms around each other's shoulders. So from the first episode, we're leaving a photo of just the three of us like this. I had a hunch since the group messenger chat was created. It's a bit troublesome, but since the ties were already formed from the first team battle, I decided not to actively avoid it. Anyway, perhaps she got a good shot. I could finally see the woman's face as she looked up from her camera. It's someone who used to buy data from me. There were quite a few fans who, when it was difficult to take pictures themselves at certain events or schedules, would buy photos, just edit them, and then post them as if they took them themselves. She was one of those types. Let's see, I remember her complaining that the data sellers had no conscience because they charged high prices according to the market rate. Those memories are vividly coming back. Still, I never took photos of private moments like airport arrivals, departures. If the data didn't sell, I sometimes released it for free on fan communities or YouTube. Well, anyway, I guess I can't really say anything. Even though the company turns a blind eye for business purposes, it's true that I was doing business disregarding others' portrait rights. Perhaps if I hadn't quit back then, I might have faced a sudden demise. I guess it's about empathizing with the feelings of the kids being photographed. Park Monday, you're so cute. Wow, I really can't get used to this. And come to think of it, the male idols she used to photograph all ended up in drunk driving scandals because of her words. That guy's main specialty was spreading rumors. Probably. She's planning to use Park Moon-dae as her main subject now, I suppose. I felt a strange emotion and waved my hand. Anyway, production presentation data is precious, so I hope she takes lots of good photos. It would be even better if you upload the photos before Friday, because this very Friday would have its first broadcast. TNet headquarters. The editing room located in a corner of the 9th floor was full of overworked employees. Ryu Seo-rin, who had scouted Park Monday, was one of them. Seo-rin, my eyes are burning out. Have some coffee and work. I don't have time. Just give me the coffee. Today was the 7th consecutive day. The staff members, who were chugging coffee like water and reviewing video data, all looked haggard. Ryu Seo-rin's former senior gave a tired smile. The editing for the first episode is important, after all. Yes, it sets the direction for the program. What to show and what to cut out. Right, anything needs a story to be fun. People need to be able to immerse themselves without thinking too much for it to be fun. Even audition programs need a narrative to be fun. And that narrative needs to be easy to follow to attract viewers. This was almost considered an established theory. Right, so you have to think up to about Episode 4 and build up from Episode 1. That's correct. Using the results of the first team battle as the climax of the episode, we need to reference the story flow and establish the kids' characters. Of course, Ryu Seo-rin's authority, or her seniors for that matter, wasn't absolute in deciding that. In the end, what the main PD thinks is what's important. She paused her work on the video for a moment. What is it? I was thinking of making a suggestion. About the editing. Yes. You're observant. Back in Season 1, was it? Lee Go-woon? That editing story you suggested about the civilian participant. Producer Jung accepted it, right? Should I try it too? At her former senior's words, Ryu Seo-rin smirked inwardly. I succeeded because I picked the right timing. Now was exactly that timing. People exhausted from fatigue sometimes momentarily forgot about hierarchy because of a sense of camaraderie. This time, well, there's no one to particularly root for, so it's a good time to make a suggestion. Yes, we just need to think about the viewers. Fortunately, as the previous season ended early amid controversy, there were hardly any requests from major agencies. So, which participants should be shown, and how for the viewers to feel catharsis when the team battle is broadcast? Picking the ones people will like is important, but we also need ones they'll dislike. How about suggesting something like that? You're good at it. There was a playful tone in the words. Ryu So-rin shrugged. Hey, how can the production team create all that? People are just like that. They want to keep liking the ones they like and keep disliking the ones they dislike. The flow. As she bundled it all onto the production team, her former senior closed her mouth. We just make it easy for viewers to immerse themselves, that's all. I suppose so. Her former senior lowered the tail of her sly smile. It was because Ryu So-rin definitely had a good sense for it. So she changed the subject and tested the waters again, as if she knew everything. So you picked an underdog this time? That requires a lot of work from the editor. The underdog effect. It meant the effect where people enthusiastically support an exhilarating reversal, like David defeating Goliath, where the weak overcome the strong. And it was one of the most entertaining narratives an audition program could show. Of course, to see a proper effect, a lot of adjustment work from the editor was needed, and it had to be well fitted. You're going to suggest those guys, right? You kept reviewing their footage. Well, I'll see. Ryu So-rin answered vaguely, but it was essentially an affirmation. No matter how much I think about it, I have to go with them. Ryu So-rin, recalling the footage she had reviewed, had already made up her mind. Fighting! She gave an appropriate response to her former senior's insincere words and went to approach the main PD. Producer Nim. And she was almost certain that the main PD was probably thinking along similar lines. Chapter 18. Wow, I'm so nervous. I hope we get a lot of screen time. The voices of the young trainees filled the training camp auditorium. They have good energy. They even came to this set location, are wearing uncomfortable uniforms, sitting on uncomfortable metal chairs, and are still filming. Then again, with cameras everywhere, it's hard to show you're uncomfortable. I'm the same. Gold 1, Gold 2, and Ghoul Seijin are already bickering amongst themselves even here. Moon Dae-hyung, how do you feel about the first episode airing? Are you ready to become a legend of the ranking evaluations? We're counting on you. Moon Dae-si. Stop it. My inability to ignore this pointless chatter is the real legend here. Seriously. I need to bear with it and listen patiently. There are drinks. I just noticed now. There are ion drinks placed under each seat. They're positioned to show the logo clearly, so it seems they finally got a PPL, paid product placement. It's from some no-name brand, but whatever. I opened the drink and chugged it, and I almost spat it right out. Now I know why they needed a PPL for this. It tastes disgusting. The countdown is starting. Please count along from 10. Following the staff's shout, the logo on the front projector screen disappeared, and numbers appeared. 10, 9, 8. As the countdown ended and the theme song started playing, cheers and applause erupted from all around. And so, the long-awaited first episode began to air. The first episode was specially scheduled and aired for a full 2 hours. This meant the participants had to sit on metal chairs for 120 minutes, unable to move except for the broadcast recording. But it didn't seem like the participants cared about that. There was only one thing that was important. How much screen time did I get? Of course, far more participants were probably disappointed. What about me? Well, let's recall the content along with the online reactions I scoured for after the filming ended. First, critical articles about and the best comments, all sorts of internet reactions, were summarized and broadcast on the screen. And then the subtitles appeared. Countless controversies. How was the actual filming conducted? The broadcast continued, showing the practice sessions. Wow, They just air that stuff without even filtering it. Cable channel trash really is something else. Feeling like a mirror matte Falcon seller. It's a trashy show anyway. Just show me the kids. Fortunately, the opening passed quickly, and the first participant appeared. I'm so nervous. Oh, Choi Wangil. That's right. The team evaluation that Choi Wangil was in was broadcast first. Wangil got a decent amount of screen time in the typical youngest position. I'm pretty sure the first participant was someone else, though. And the first participant didn't get any screen time after that either. He probably won't appear in the future either. That was the general pattern overall. The selection had already been finalized at the production stage. Some participants didn't even get proper reaction shots. The funny thing was that the participants who were my teammates just before got a decent amount of screen time. Starting with Choi Wangil, the evaluations of Gulsejin and Gold 1 and 2 were broadcast even before the first part ended. It felt good. It's always good to be recognized as a strong team right from the first evaluation. But of course, the most important thing is my screen time. Unless my evaluation was completely edited out, it should have appeared in the first episode based on the order, and thankfully it did. Next participant, please come to the stage now. My segment first appeared at the very end of part 1. It was a strange feeling watching Biom Dayete walk up to the stage on screen. It felt like watching someone else reenact something I had done. Behind me, Gul Sayajin and the Golds started hitting my back and shaking my shoulders. They're making it impossible to watch properly. You're on, see? Yeah, it's me. If you shake me anymore, I won't be able to see even if I have eyes. Stop it. I couldn't say that, so I just gave an appropriate response and focused back on the screen. The conversation with the judges was playing. Yes, participant, please introduce yourself. My name is Biom Dette. Nice to meet you. As soon as the onstage introduction ended, an interview clip was inserted right away. This was a positive sign, showing that editing effort was put in. Question. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Biom Dette. No, silence. Biom Dette. Nothing in particular. A BGM without laughter and cynical sound effects were added. Let's see. I think that answer was for a question about whether I had any complaints about my teammates. And they edited it like this? This editing made me take back my positive sign comment in 7 seconds. This is bad. The judges' dumbfounded reactions were highlighted even more on screen. No, is that all? Yes. I have no notable career experience to introduce. Right after that answer, another interview clip appeared. Park Moonday, before appearing on the show. I have no experience related to performing. Q. Any training? Park Moonday. No. I knew I was screwed here. I had deliberately given answers that were hard to cut up, fearing they would edit them. But I never thought they'd just turn them into short, blunt responses. The internet reactions at this point were also brutal. His answers are so insincere. Is it a character bit? He seems so unmotivated. If you're going to live as a regular person, why did you even come out here? He's either incredibly stupid and will get criticized, or it's meant to be funny. And all the judges' exasperated sighs in the screen were subtitled. Looking at the application here, there's really nothing. That's right. Clips of the many participants who had been judged before, with their tense expressions and them whispering to each other, passed by in an instant. I wonder where they dug up those poorly edited clips from. A screen effect was added as the judge spoke the next line, making it sound sarcastic. Then, show us your stage once. Yes. On the screen, Park Moonday held the mic, and the accompaniment started to play. And the moment the first verse was about to come out, SFX bling. It's the icy water purifier. An advertisement came on. The privilege of cable TV, a mid-show advertisement. Ugh. Hyung, don't worry too much. Exaggerated reactions and concerns poured in from around me. Are you okay? This guy who hasn't had a single shot yet is worried about me? They're so caught up in the mood, probably because the cameras are on them. I answered calmly, what can you do? It's broadcast TV. Of course, that was nonsense. In reality, if they edit it poorly, that's the end of it. But I laughed inwardly. It probably won't be a total disaster. The fact that the mid-show ad was placed in the middle of the evaluation meant they deemed it okay to break the flow once. In other words, it meant that the content after the ad wouldn't make viewers change the channel. The short ad soon ended, and the intro music started playing again. Meanwhile, the internet Yulun, public opinion, was going crazy. It wasn't even that suspenseful, but it got an ad cliffhanger. Instead of the untalented guy, give screen time to the hard-working ones. The regular person character bit isn't working. I don't want to see some nobody who thinks he's all that on a survival show, and the moment Park Moonday, holding the mic, started singing, a subtitle briefly flashed. I remember the me I used to know. The judges, wide-eyed, and the participants, suddenly lifting their heads, were cross-edited in a rapid sequence. What? Huh? Why is he so good? OMG, 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 he's good? To be honest, I was as baffled as the internet reactions. He's good. With the editing effort put in, it made it look like some hidden genius had appeared on the audition. Even the subtle hand movements that could barely be called choreography were cut well, making them look stylish. It was a much more favorable edit than I had expected. I had guessed they might lower expectations early on and then show the stage performance well to create a reversal effect, but as if every day is a party. Ooh. In the latter high notes, even a shot of Judge Moody dropping her jaw was included. I don't think that shot was from my evaluation, though. Are they compensating for setting me up in the interview like this? While I was bewildered, the internet Yulun, public opinion, turned instantly. Wow, he's really good. I get why he'd want to escape being a regular person, recognized. Oh, the high note is crazy. His voice is so good, OMG, I'm flustered. It's been so long since someone sang Party. Park Moonday, was it? Gotta buy stock in him. The production team even preserved the brief silence after the song ended. Thank you for listening. The silence, combined with close-ups of the other participants' reactions, created an unnecessarily dramatic scene. The judges' explosive reactions that followed were also quickly highlighted one by one, and a large subtitle was placed over Moonday's face as if he had uttered some famous quote. You know you're good, right? I practiced hard to sing well. No, this kind of thing, you're just born with it. You have talent. The problem was, with editing like that, my reaction to those words came across as extremely dry and unenthusiastic in comparison. And it seemed like that was intentional. So you've never received any special training either? No, none at all? So, not even a hagwon? Cram school? Yes. Just looking at the internet reactions, they were like this. OMG, OMG, well, he doesn't look like he practiced hard. Moonday's answers have no soul. But his soul was there when he sang. Where did it go? However, the fact that the comments were now filled with banter, not necessarily thinking Park Moonday's reactions were malicious, was positive. I roughly grasped the outline. They've set my character as the clueless, my pace, skilled, ordinary person. I might get some hate, but it wasn't a bad start. No, it was actually good. As long as the editing for the dance battle wasn't completely insane later. It seemed like I could smoothly pass to the second round based on this early recognition. With this flow, they might even package my dance skills appropriately and let it slide. With this hopeful premonition, that specific content started appearing on the screen. It was the part where Judge Youngren requests a dance. The internet reactions around this part had been subtle. See, I guess he can't dance. Wow, but they're asking for a dance on the spot? It's about to get serious/somber lull, or I'm already feeling embarrassed for him. Yes, could you dance to this song? But as soon as Park Moonday immediately requested a song choice, and the flustered staff's reaction to his request was broadcast, the subtitles started boiling over again. What? What song did he request? Why is the staff waving their hands no OMG LOL? I can't even imagine what song it is. And when the wildly fast tempo started playing, both the editing and the subtitles went completely crazy. When the screen filled with exclamation mark subtitles, the judges looking like they'd been struck by lightning, and Park Moonday dancing to with a serious expression were cross-edited, the atmosphere went to another world. The voices of participants laughing explosively came from all around. I was seriously embarrassed. No, I was just trying to look like I was trying hard, even with an easy song. But I came off looking like a complete weirdo, giving it his all to PopCon. I started to worry if I would just become an internet meme like this, but of course, there was no way to know the final score yet. Low, 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 low. OMG, is Moonday cute? Low, low, low. He's serious about the dance. He's just like that. He's so earnest and funny. Low, low. The reaction is good. The reaction was even better than when I sang Unbelievable, Chapter 9. To be honest, I was quite tense until the moment I turned on my smartphone to check the reactions to the first episode. I thought I might have become too much of a laughingstock, but unexpectedly, the viewers' reactions were closer to being favorable rather than critical. And by the time the chorus of PopCon came on, public opinion had completely turned. The comments had a nuance of goodwill. He's so funny, entertaining. Note, Gajanjom is a slang misspelling of Gajan, meaning so good funny. Go cute lololol. He was so focused. Be honest, you came on this audition just to do this, didn't you? Yes, say, yeah. If you're gonna do it, you should do it properly. Good to see. Wait, he's a different person from the one in the interview? It was so cute. They think this is cute? My strategy of carefully preparing the song selection was correct, but I thought it would be at the level of, well, he tried hard, so we'll let it slide. But it turned out to be an unexpected benefit. Wasn't the national pastime of audition show viewers making fun of untalented people? I was a little confused, but I soon understood the situation. It's thanks to having sung well right before. I had already satisfied the traditional expectation that a singer must be able to sing well. In that situation, it seemed that as long as my dancing wasn't at an embarrassing level, they could view it generously. And it seemed that by even providing laughs, my character became more highlighted. Although that character was a bit perplexing. So even though I deliberately only gave bland answers, this is how it turned out. My basic plan was to avoid giving any room for malicious edits. On top of that, to emphasize my main vocal position, I had reacted neutrally to everything. Even in interviews, I didn't mention any personal stories and only made objective statements that fit within social consensus. But who would have thought they would sell that as having a soulless nuance? Anyway, it seems the saying is true. Even if you pray wrong, if you just head towards soul, it works out. It's like I intended to take the KTX, but taking the express bus worked just fine. I got past the first stage well. It was clear I had secured early recognition. This wasn't just a feeling. There was tangible proof. It's because a status window pop-up appeared while I was watching the broadcast. A beginning of fame, too. 10,000 people have remembered your existence. Point +1, a call to fame. 50,000 people have remembered your existence. Regression Trade Awakening, click! Just from one broadcast, the number jumped to 50,000. This is becoming reality-defying. I decided to check the rewards from the pop-up later, and instead opened a search window and entered a keyword, re-debut, Idol Incorporated ratings. The results came up immediately. Average rating, 3.7%. Peak instant rating, 6.8%. Unbelievable. Is this really the first episode of a low-budget cable variety series? It seemed they had successfully grabbed people's attention. Objectively speaking, it wasn't an insanely high rating. But the fact that tens of thousands of people remembered Park Moonday meant that, regardless of whether it was positive or negative, I had left quite an impression. Well then, shall I take a closer look at the positive or negative aspect now? After finishing my check of the overall public opinion flow for the first episode, I went straight to check the video clips of my evaluation. The pure 100% ordinary contestants twist. Park Moon Day. I felt like I wanted my hands and feet to curl up and disappear. Now let's erase it from my mind. I checked the best comments first. Huh? Popcorn here? V181. I was watching half asleep and woke right up. Nuna will support you until you definitely make your debut. Farah Warrior 522, V294. Yep, my pick this time is Park Moon Day. First of all, it was a good sign that comments praising me enough to be cringy were at the top. It was unfamiliar, but I was grateful. However, the relatively high ratio of dislikes was a risk factor. Compared to other contestants who received favorable edits, for example, Cha Yujin, it seemed to be about 1.5 times higher. This meant a considerable number of people felt aversion to the Park Moon Day portrayed on broadcast. Probably the way I came off as a social was the problem. So, the most efficient appeal I can make at this point is, I can't do anything about the negative image that's already formed, but there are many idols who boil this down into a character gimmick and provide laughs. Just thinking off the top of my head, there's at least one per idol group. Therefore, there's only one thing I need to do in the next filming. I need to seem friendly, approachable. I immediately thought of the next shooting assignment, Idol Incorporated PR video. The next filming was for producing a PR video. I have 3 days left. Let's try to find as many meaningful examples as possible before then. The PR video shoot for Idol Incorporated was conducted live. However, the process of preparing the PR videos was pre-recorded, as I had predicted. It was filler content used to kill time during the ranking announcement ceremony. Everyone, are you all ready? Yeah! The participants enthusiastically responded to the MC's cheerful voice. I feel like I see this plaza every shoot, or is it just my imagination? Anyway, the important thing was that the participants had become more earnest. I'm glad to see you're all doing well. Now, do you know what we're preparing for today? PR videos. Self-introductions. That's right. Since everyone must have seen the reactions to the first episode, they all must have realized, no matter what you do in front of the camera, if it doesn't get aired, it's as if it never happened. That's why they must be desperate for this PR video, which will be broadcast live. It was by no means a fair competition. A live broadcast competition held after the first episode had already split. Everyone's recognition levels was almost like having the results predetermined. But since every season, someone always managed to turn things around with their PR video, everyone seemed to be preparing their videos desperately without complaint. Of course, a live broadcast with 77 amateurs was bound to be followed by all sorts of controversies. But for now, no one cared. The participants probably thought, as long as it's not me, and the production team would be happy about the increased buzz. Tonight at 8 p.m., you will each conduct a live stream just for yourselves on TNet's global YouTube channel. I'm so nervous. Jules Saijin, who was positioned near me again, muttered softly. He didn't look nervous at all. This guy really has no filter. Wait a moment. I think I misspoke. It won't be a live stream just for you, will it? The MC fanned the flames, seeming to enjoy the reaction. The flustered participants let out exaggerated shouts. What do you think is the dream of celebrities? The dream? It's commercials, everyone. The MC spread his arms wide. Each of you must choose one collaboration item to advertise and promote yourselves along with the item. Huh? These bastards are determined to get a free ride. This so-called collaboration item just sounds fancy. It's probably a product from T1, a company under the Thet conglomerate. They couldn't even get a proper endorsement deal. Their mindset was probably, if we get 1 or 2 items picked up and get some viral effect, great. And if not, no big deal. Even among us insane commercial tactics, this was capitalistic enough to make your head spin. Did someone hastily throw this in after seeing the ratings? They thought the series was doomed and neglected it. but when it suddenly got a positive reaction, they hurriedly tacked this on. Anyway, the MC's words were fancy. You might feel like you have to promote this item, but think of it as a way to showcase your own charm. The participants seemed to be convinced. Well, it's not like they could do anything, even if they weren't convinced, so it was a wise stance. Then, how will you obtain the prop you will hold? Running race? Rock, paper, scissors? Karaoke? Examples from last season and similar programs were shouted out from here and there. The MC shook his head with a regretful expression and then announced the answer. It's a ball hunt. Huh? The production staff has hidden item balls colored like jewels all over the dorm. For the next 15 minutes, all you have to do is find the balls and bring them back, Gilsajin muttered with a slightly impressed expression. This seems like it'll be fun to watch. Yeah, it's a setup that would indeed be fun for the viewers. But for the participants doing it, it's perfect for getting into fights. With 77 people rummaging through one building, conflicts are bound to happen. Of course, the filler content for the ranking ceremony was meant to heighten the tension. It probably wouldn't get overly serious, but it was more than enough to spark subtle fanwares. I can already picture all the speculation and memes that will pop up online. Ahem. In the audition program world, even the balls have grades. Please keep that in mind and examine the balls carefully. Yeah, they were probably painted or colored in gold and silver. Now get ready. Everyone got into position to run. Start! Wah! With screams, the 77 people rushed into the dorm. I slipped away quietly and turned my steps. Let's go in through the back door. No matter how I thought about it, the probability of not getting a single one if I went in through the main entrance with everyone else was overwhelmingly high. If I go around back and enter through the side door, I'll have less competition from the other participants. Just then, Gulsajin and Gold 1, who were behind me, followed me in a line. Their snickering made them seem like lackeys. Thanks, Mundeya. This is a good move. You're shrewd, Hyungnim. It wouldn't matter if 2 people tagged along, but it's a bit annoying. Gold 2 and Sion Ah-hyun, who were standing a little further away, seemed to have rushed into the main entrance, looking flustered. As always, timing is everything in life. Too bad for them. Oh, Moonday found one right away. Right after entering through the back door, I immediately found the ball in the doorframe. It was silver. Just as I expected. Gulsajin also nodded while looking at the opaque silver ball. It seems they're divided by grade, like top, middle, and bottom grade. Ah, let's use proper and beautiful Korean. Gold, silver, bronze. How nice is that? Wow, a true patriot. If they keep this up, I'll just leave them behind. Shouldn't we search quickly? The others will come soon. Yeah, it's reassuring to have a realistic Dunday, Moon Day with us. I quickly moved my feet. Surprisingly, the other 2 followed quietly without any more chatter. First, the storage room. Things like this are easier if you think in reverse. The places the production staff would hide them. Here? Gulsejin rummaged and pulled out a brass-colored ball from a chalk holder in front of a camera. Ah, the Nuna's female fans camera crew or something else. Seriously, the gold hand's talent for finding good stuff is real. Surprisingly, he's quite useful. These guys have skilled hands. Thanks to that, we divided the areas without a word and quickly finished ransacking the storage room. Found one more silver. Shall we move now? Agreed. Their situational judgment is fast, too. Without dawdling further, we quickly moved to the next area. Where to? Well, let's go to the cafeteria first. There are cameras there. Dunday, you're sharp. As expected from the man who found the back door. It would be better if they didn't say things like that. There was no time to waste in the cafeteria either. The 3 of us tacitly started searching around the areas where cameras were installed. It was when I checked the utensil holder. Found it. What? It's gold. We had obtained 1 gold ball. Why does our Dunday find the gold grade first? Can't be helped, Hyungnim. I guess it's because Dunday has golden hands, is lucky finding things. That's right, you really can't beat natural talent. Let's look for others. Hey, I finally found a way to shut them up. Just give them work. Anyway, after hearing the sound of footsteps rushing in, we quickly left the cafeteria. Upstairs? Yeah. We repeated the same search upstairs. It was efficient. I'm glad we teamed up. You said it. Honestly, even Dunde agrees with this, right? Yeah. Oh, I'll be honest. I benefited thanks to these two guys. Searching with 3 people was highly efficient. Overall, their observation and mobility were good, so it was convenient to search and move quickly. Their judgment was also solid. Since they weren't the type to have strange stubbornness, the distribution also ended neatly. So we've found 4 gold, 2 silver, and 4 bronze. Jules Sajin laid out the palm-sized plastic balls. Gold one said cautiously, "That's right, Let's each take one of each color. And since Dunde led us here, let's give him a gold instead of a silver. How about it?" I'm fine with that. It's good that it ended neatly, but I shouldn't leave any room for potential editing traps. Having experienced the power of editing once, it's really no joke. Then I won't take the bronze ones. You 2 take 2 each. Oh, thanks. Okay. As we were each putting the balls away, an announcement came over the dorm speakers, and 200 seconds left. For your information, we are currently hiding in the storage room by the back door, avoiding the incoming participants. It would be too pathetic if we got caught here. Hyung, people are coming this way. Run. We quickly slipped out the back door and headed to the gathering point. Perfect, nice. As expected of our teamwork, it's priceless. Those guys, maybe because they were excited, their mouths are running freely again. At the gathering point, participants who had found 1 or 2 balls were already opening theirs. So far, there was no sign of anyone trying to forcibly take others' balls. They probably know summary cameras are installed everywhere. It seems people are psychologically reluctant to openly steal items others are holding. Wow, shall we open ours too? Sure. Yeah. We returned to our spots and started opening the balls. Since Gul Sayejin and Gold 1 had many balls in their hands, quite a few envious eyes were on them. Still, having 2 high-grade ones is probably better. Getting several mediocre ones just makes choosing more difficult. I opened the 2 gold balls I had been given, and I froze. Wait a minute. Chapter 20. Inside the 2 gold balls I obtained from the treasure hunt were slips of paper, guitar, flower crown. Hopeless. Guitar, I can't play. Flower crown? Unless my visual stat was A rank, I could pull it off as a concept, but no. Even if I poured all the points I have now into visual, a flower crown wouldn't be a good choice. It's an item with no relation to approachability. Both items are objectively high grade, but they are a bad fit for me. This is driving me crazy. I need to trade with the slips Gul Sajin or Gold 1 didn't choose if that doesn't work, even with another participant. The moment I tried to turn around, participants came pouring back into the gathering point. 20 seconds left. Wait, just wait. It seemed they rushed frantically to the gathering point upon hearing the announcement, trying not to be late. Is it possible to use that chaos to request a trade? Just as I was thinking that, a familiar face caught my eye. It was Seon Ah-hyun, his face pale white. In his hand, he held a brown ball. Given his personality, should I praise him for managing to get even a bronze ball? But judging by his expression, the ball's contents seemed to be a failure. Just then, I saw the slip inside the already open bronze ball. Bang dong snacks. It's perfect! I quickly pushed through the crowd and approached Seon Ah-hyun. 5 seconds left. Seon Ah-hyun looked flustered. 5. Can you play the guitar? And 4. Well, I can play. Do you like it? 3. Yes. Then want to trade? 2. I took it as a yes. I handed him the 2 gold balls I was holding and took the 1 bronze ball. Bang! The ball hunt is now over. Seon Ah-hyun had a completely bewildered expression. Amidst the cheers and sighs rising from around us, I looked down contentedly at the bronze ball in my hand. It was a successful trade. I exchanged 2 gold balls for 1 bronze ball. I hope people don't curse me for it. Thursday, 7:50 p.m., just before the start of the PR live stream. Related internet communities and SNS were buzzing with excitement, filled with all sorts of opinions. They're doing the wasteful 77-person simultaneous live stream again this season. They still haven't learned their lesson from last time. Sigh, Kim Rae-bin is doing a live stream with this face. Even if he says nothing, it's content, right? Photo. If our Yujin promotes massage chairs, I'll buy them right away. The pigs who fall for this kind of blatant commercialism are really pathetic. But it says if you buy through the video link, all profits are donated. Ha! Because I trust everything Bastion says. Okay, next pig. I really hope the participants aren't hurt and choose well. That's the real problem, LOL cuckoo were. Laugh cry. It was a chaotic dogfight where all sorts of human inclinations were on display. But one thing was clear. The amount of mention about the participants had multiplied. People who had developed a liking for the participants themselves after episode 1 were genuinely waiting with anticipation for the content. And at 8 o'clock p.m. sharp, the live stream indicator appeared on the YouTube channel. Hey, it's on. Oh, going in. I can't watch them all. Who's number 1 in viewer count? Give us a relay. It's Cha Yujin. Wow, the difference in viewers between her and the others is cuckoo. The others only have 7 viewers. Poor things. Wangil did puppy dog tails, hair. Everyone, come see. Why is Seon Ah-hyun wearing a flower crown? Why that face? Soon all sorts of comments about the various participants started flying. Comments where people just said their own piece overflowed, burying the malicious comments. It was then. Hey, someone's streaming from a Chinese site. You mean? No, like someone's seriously eating. What do you mean? In the self-intro video? No, for real. A few people who were curious clicked the link and entered. Hello? Park Moon-dae's face appeared on the screen, holding a chicken foot in his hand. Although the participants couldn't see the real-time comments, the comments on Park Moon-dae's live stream were already starting to boil over. Hey, Moon-dae, why are you holding a chicken foot? Lol, the mukbang has appeared. Following PopCon, the mukbang chicken foot has made its appearance. Wasn't this supposed to be a self-intro video? Is it a mukbang? Why on earth did you choose this? Is it a penalty? LOL. I really want to communicate. I have so many questions I want to ask. LOL. In contrast to the comment section, Park Moon-dae, acting as if the chicken foot in his hand was nothing special, continued speaking. The product I'm promoting today is John, live fire mukbang chicken foot from T1 Food. Park Moon-dae was sitting at a table fully set up with a sizzling plate and more. The spicy chicken foot, held in his gloved hand, looked delicious, but it created a vast sense of disparity compared to the other participants' video thumbnails. First, I'll try it and give a review. Park Moon-dae nonchalantly took a bite of the chicken foot. He chewed vigorously, swallowed, and then spoke again. First, the spicy flavor is good and it's not too hot, so I think I could keep eating it. There's no odd smell, so the aftertaste is clean. The texture is also nice and crunchy. Is this kid a former professional mukbang YouTuber? Talk about yourself. You can talk about the food roughly. Dun-dae-ya lol. Should have recognized his potential back when he tried hard with PopCon. Lol. This is really funny. Our Moon-dae might lack social skills, but he's a good kid at heart. The comments erupted at the sight of Park Moon-dae being so sincere about the review, but soon the atmosphere changed again. Park Moon-dae's mukbang was more entertaining to watch than expected, but he really eats well. He puts it in his mouth neatly, without dripping, chewing chomp. The way he chews, moving his mouth, is cute. Even if he just sits there, silently eating, he'd probably get points. I wish you'd wrap it in the perilla leaf and eat it, Moon-dae-ya. Key smash. I'm dying of laughter. He eats cleanly, without getting it all over his mouth. Yum yum. It's always nice to watch someone eat well. And Park Moon-dae diligently continued his review. He even took out a tuna mayo rice ball, saying it goes well with the chicken feet, causing the comment section to flip out once more. Soon, posts started appearing on SNS and communities. Picture of the Ajusa contestant doing a live mukbang JP. Park Moon-dae seriously eating chicken feet. I thought he was a main vocalist, but is he a mukbang star on YouTube? Park Moon-dae's PR video is insane, lol. The viewer count began to rise rapidly. Park Moon-dae's viewer count, which was already fairly high, was now entering the top 5. While participants couldn't see the comments, they could see the viewer count. Park Moon-dae blinked as he saw his viewer count had surpassed 10,000. There are many viewers. Thank you. I will work hard. Moon-dae, yeah, that's not the point. Now talk about yourself. Why, it's nice to watch you eat. Are you a new mukbang BJ, broadcast jockey streamer? You eat well? He's an idol audition contestant. He's a contestant who sings well, you know. LOL. But why is he eating? I don't get it either. We don't get it either. I had no idea, not even in my dreams, that he'd just eat for the whole time without singing a single note. Park Moon-dae was in the middle of giving a detailed review of the rice ball's taste. Just then, a notification sound came from the clock sitting in the corner of his desk. Ah, time is almost up. The PR video live streams were basically given 10 minutes. Then, the viewer count and number of likes were converted into points, and only the top 33 would receive an additional minutes and a special gift. Park Moon-dae thought, these bastards are making us do ads too. How shameless. But of course he didn't show it and just nodded his head. As it might end soon, I'll say goodbye in advance. Thank you. Park Moon-dae bowed his head politely, then, as if pondering for a moment, he took a breath and added, please watch episode 2 of Idol Incorporated. They say that's the example phrase, given by the production team, but it feels so forced coming from him. This kid really can't say things that he doesn't mean lol. It's okay, Dundae, you're cute, so it's fine. Right, cute. He sings well and eats well. I, this bastard, am happy. Lol. I'm really laughing so hard. About 10 seconds after Park Moon-dae's closing remarks, a bell sound was suddenly heard from the screen. Ah, it seems the results are out. Park Moon-dae pulled out a clunky-looking smartphone from under the desk. It seemed he had received the results via text from the production team. But the comments, which already knew he was easily within the top 33, were focusing on something else. Hey, that's an H-phone. He's poor. He's broke. In a world where you're treated like a savage if you don't use an Apple phone, he uses an H-phone? Is he resisting the trend? Low. I think he's crazy. Dundae, no, we'll buy you an Apple phone. Let's date. Our Dundae, LOL. Although Park Moon-dae had chosen frugality out of necessity to manage a minimal lifestyle within his budget, it was creating an unexpected synergy. Anyway, Park Moon-dae also confirmed his high ranking, so he announced the result without much suspense. I have placed within the top 33, so I can continue the broadcast. I ask for your support for the next 5 minutes as well. I will proceed diligently. Park Moon-dae gave a polite nod, then picked up the chicken foot again. And once more, he nonchalantly took a big bite. Lol. I ask for your support. For the mukbang, he himself is the #1 source of laughter. No, even if it's extra time, please introduce yourself a bit. Lol, Moon-dae. Instead of that, give us some TMI. Tell us your favorite color, whether you're a cat or dog person, your MBTI, anything, LOL. The speed at which comments were rising was terrifyingly fast. Even if Park Moon-dae were reading them, he wouldn't have been able to keep up. Just then, Park Moon-dae's smartphone rang again. It was the production team again. What is it? Is Is it the special gift or something like that? It seems there's another notice from the production team. Just a moment. Park Moon Day checked the text message. It was a long one. Participant special gift. It's communication with the viewers. From now on, viewer donations are possible. Participants can see donation pop-ups for amounts at or above the baseline of 10,001. Please convey this to the viewers. Please be aware that the full donation amount will be donated. The part about donating the full amount was likely to prevent potential controversy. But considering that the participants receive the donations and the donation is made in the program's name, it was, frankly, a despicable move. I knew they'd find a way to milk money without spending a dime of their own. While thinking this cynically, Park Moon Day obediently read the text message aloud, verbatim. Donations? They probably set it at 10,001 to block aggro, prevent spam, low-effort donations. Hey, what kind of donation is that? Why don't they give it to the participants, instead of just trying to save their own face? If they gave it to the participants, they'd get criticized for being tacky anyway. They only care about themselves. If I send Moonday chicken money, will he do a chicken mukbang? This is on the level of a neighborhood convenience store fundraiser. Although the majority of comments were criticizing the production team, it wasn't like there were no donations at all. Soon, the first pop-up appeared on the screen. It was a donation notification. Crazy, that was fast. Is it for chicken? Kaka, laughing. Quick! Someone asked why he chose chicken feet. Thank you, 123 Nim. Park Moon Day read the donation message on the screen, feeling a strong sense of futility and annoyance.